Rome wasn't built in a day, but it sure was built to last. Researchers are still finding amazing discoveries across the entire country that reveal so much about the incredible technological advances during the Roman Empire. So, we will be discussing one of the innovative solutions the Pompeians developed before their untimely demise after the eruption of Mount Vesuvius. You might also be surprised to find out what massive discovery a farmer found right in his own backyard. So today, here at Unexplained Mysteries, we'll be sharing some fascinating discoveries made in Italy. A sinkhole reveals a hidden secret in Rome. The Pantheon is considered Rome's most popular tourist attraction and is also the best preserved ancient Roman monument. Over 7 million people visit the Pantheon each year to marvel at the famous historical structure. On April 27, 2020, a sinkhole measuring over 10 square feet opened up between the Pantheon and the Piazza della Rotunda's fountain. It was more than 8 feet deep and occurred without any warning. The area typically sees nearly 20,000 tourists a day. While it was a time of struggle for the city, thankfully no one was injured by the sinkhole incident. While inspecting the sinkhole, officials discovered slabs of ancient sedimentary rock, called travertine, that dates between 27 and 25 BC. The slabs turned out to be imperial Roman pavestones that were placed by Marcus Agrippa, deputy to Augustus, Rome's first emperor. Agrippa oversaw the initial construction of the Pantheon, which many people assume is the one still standing today. Unfortunately, Agrippa's first structure was destroyed by a fire in 80 AD. It was rebuilt only to be completely destroyed a second time by a lightning strike only 30 years later. Finally, in 125 AD, Emperor Hadrian erected the domed structure that tourists visit today, and it has stood tall ever since. The slabs were an exciting discovery, but this was not the first time they had been found. Local authorities first unearthed the stones in the 1990s while they were laying service lines, but elected not to disturb them. Nearly 30 years after the initial find, the stones are still perfectly intact. Sinkholes are not uncommon in Rome, and it has been dubbed the sinkhole capital of Europe. They have actually become a significant concern in the area, with a record 175 sinkholes in 2018 and over 100 in 2019. Just recently, on May 25th, a Mercedes SUV and a smart car fell into a sinkhole in Rome that was 20 feet deep and 65 feet long. There is much concern for the city, with it averaging 100 sinkholes per year. It was not built on a strong foundation, and it's becoming challenging to prevent the issues as sinkholes continue to occur. The city was built on soft, sandy soil that is easily eroded by water. It is also full of underground tunnels, sewers, and cavities where ancient Romans used to quarry for materials to erect the city that stands today. With cars, scooters, and endless foot traffic from tourists, the streets are highly susceptible to sinkholes because of the constant vibrations. The fossil of an 85-foot blue whale in Italy is the largest ever discovered. Blue whales are the largest animals alive today, and they are the largest ones to have lived. Today, the longest blue whale ever recorded measures in at 111 feet. Very little is known about how blue whales came to be so massive or how gradual their growth was in order to become the gigantic aquatic behemoths that they are today. While it was assumed their evolution and growth happened suddenly around 300,000 years ago, a discovery by a lake in Italy has caused researchers to rethink what they once hypothesized. In 2006, a farmer from the southern Italian town of Matera noticed some large bones sticking out of the clay by the lake near his home. Since he used the lake to irrigate his fields, little could be done to unearth the bones without disturbing his harvest. It took over 3 years to gradually lower the water level of the lake in order to preserve the farmer's crops. It was Italian paleontologist Giovanni Bianucci from the University of Pisa that dug out the remains with his team. They discovered that it was the fossil of an 85-foot blue whale that lived about 1.5 million years ago. This shattered the original theories held by scientists that whales had only become this massive in the last 300,000 years. The fact that such a large whale existed that long ago suggests that large whales had been around for quite a while, says Felix Marx, a paleontologist at the Royal Belgian Institute of Natural Sciences in Brussels. For years, scientists have struggled to figure out just how long blue whales have been on our planet and how they managed to reach sizes over 110 feet. Because of the many ice ages that have occurred on Earth, vast amounts of the ocean froze into ice, dropping sea levels a tremendous amount. This means that any ancient whales that died throughout Earth's history are now frozen deep below sea level. This makes them challenging to find and even harder to bring back to the surface for research. Pompeii's brilliant street repair strategy. Pompeii is an ancient Roman city found at the base of Mount Vesuvius. In 79 AD, Mount Vesuvius erupted, destroying much of the city with volcanic debris and covering it in 19 feet of ash. For centuries, the ruins of Pompeii lay undisturbed and perfectly preserved by the thick blanket of ash. In the 1700s, the discovery of the once hidden city shocked the world. It was completely frozen in time. There were perfectly preserved remains of people trying to find shelter from the eruption. Even bakeries still had fresh loaves of bread in the oven. Unlike other ancient cities that have been reduced to rubble or updated over time, the perfect preservation of Pompeii gave archaeologists a clearer view of the past. One of the many things they discovered was how the people of Pompeii dealt with potholes and erosion of their roads. Since the stone-paved streets were narrow and filled with heavy traffic, they were often in need of repair. To repave the roads would have been expensive, and the months it would have taken to do so would have been a heavy burden for the city to handle. They had to develop a strategy that was inexpensive and quick to repair to ensure there were little to no disruptions in the city. As part of the Roman Empire, they benefited from certain technical advantages. After the conquest of Britain, the Pompeians gained access to the region's massive deposits of iron. They used this iron to their advantage and developed an ingenious way to repair their streets. By heating the iron to a molten state, they could pour it into the holes and cracks in the road throughout the city. The iron would harden as it cooled, which can take roughly an entire day. It was much faster than the alternative and considerably less expensive because of its abundant availability. The one thing researchers cannot seem to figure out is how the Pompeians were able to heat the iron in order to liquefy it and then transport it. There is a theory that they used slaves that would run to the furnaces and carry the molten hot iron into the roads to fill the holes. This theory comes from the drops of iron speckled across the streets that lead to the conclusion that some of the iron would spill out of whatever they were using to transport it. But what do you make of these interesting Italian discoveries? Be sure to let us know your thoughts in the comments section below and help us by growing this community while working to solve these unexplained mysteries. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe for more videos.